Yeah, Keith, in the last 30 minutes, Philadelphia police told us they're investigating 25 ATM incidents, including this one in West Philly where someone tried to pry it open. Now, for companies like Wells Fargo, replacing a machine is easy, but for mom and pop shops where some people rely on them like they would a bank, it's much harder. They may have to eat the cost and pay for it out of pocket, but the impact cuts deeper. As unrest and chaos descend on Philadelphia, looters are becoming bolder. Surveillance video shows a group of crooks risk their lives and the lives of passing drivers to blow up an ATM at 5th and Tioga. They used explosives 10 times. Around 3 a.m. in another part of the city, this cell phone video catches another explosion. And at 2nd and Susquehanna, a blast killed a 24-year-old man trying to get some cash.
A lot of explosions. I looked out the window, and it's a sad situation what happened and everything like that, but I mean, people got to realize that the looting and everything like that, destroying your own neighborhood. Now, where you going to go really and buy stuff at?
These ATM explosions create a domino effect in the neighborhood. And to understand the impact, the National ATM Council told us how widespread independent money machines are now. Only 120,000 ATMs existed in the U.S. in 1996. All were owned by banks. More than 20 years later, there were 470,000. 60% are independently owned, and a fraction are located in lower-income neighborhoods, the same places we saw most of Philly's explosions.
Where there's a large percentage of the population that depends on cash.
Bruce Renard is the executive director of the National ATM Council. He says crimes like this cut deep for people who don't use banks but rely on food stamps and prepaid cards.
When those ATMs serving these communities are vandalized or destroyed or stolen, it affects people who rely on those ATMs for their life-giving, cash.
And again, those money machines you saw in the story are considered lifelines for people in those neighborhoods, especially the ones that are waiting on their stimulus checks. Now, the head of the ATM Council said ATM explosions in America are rare, but it's a much bigger trend in other parts of the world. The group is pushing for stricter penalties for offenders, like serving the same amount of prison time as you would for robbing a bank.
As widespread looting has kicked off across America, I find myself in a parking lot on a Sunday in West Philadelphia, ground zero to the looting. Philadelphia is a city that's been a powder keg waiting to explode for a very long time. We have a history of the move bomb in 1985. We have the history of Frank Rizzo and his dirty police regime. We have the multiple histories of years past with the shootings, police shootings. Last year, we had an incident where 6 police officers were shot trying to run into a home and make an arrest. There's been racial tension in this city for a long time. Philadelphia is, for a long time, has been one of the most racially segregated cities in America. Whites lived on one side, blacks lived on another, and certain blacks and Latinos lived on another. And racism was something that just wasn't talked about. It was something that you just knew. So now as America begins to burn after another senseless murder of an African American by a white police officer, the youth is tired. And the youth is beginning to strike back. And when you deal with a group of young people who has no understanding of how to properly fight back, their only resorts would be to tear up property, cause financial and economic damage to insurance companies and to businesses. And some will say, well, they're destroying their own communities. But if you ask a lot of the young people, it's not my community. I never grew up seeing black stores in the black community. Most of us don't even own our houses. We have white landlords, Asian landlords. So when has there ever been a black community? A lot of us are mad at the looters because we feel like we're being made to feel uncomfortable. But you've been uncomfortable for a long time. As you see here, the GameStop stores and the T-Mobiles are being destroyed, ramshacked. People are walking away with all kinds of goods, and you're conditioned in your mind to be mad at the looters. But you're not mad at the perpetrators in suits that are causing the problems and not getting economic and not getting policies passed in order to protect black people who should be a protected class in this country. The LGBT community is now a protected class. The Jewish community has been a protected class in this country for a long time. But black African Americans in this country should have been a protected class under many civil rights acts. But to this day, our rights, our well-beings, our mind, our bodies are still not protected. We're used to being told what to do, how to do, and when to do by white folks and other groups that we've been conditioned to be subordinate to. So when we behave in manners like this, as you see the aftermath of the carnage that took place that Sunday. So as I come out Monday morning and take trips around the city, you get a chance to see the pure destruction that is taking place. You know, people come out and film to witness the aftermath. And stores were destroyed. But as I said before, you guys are going to have to get used to being uncomfortable if you want things to get better. You're upset because you can't go to your Kroger's right now. You're upset because you can't go to your Rite Aids. You can't go to your Walgreens right now. But you've been upset and uncomfortable for a long time. You've been screaming about white supremacy. You've been screaming about white racism, bigotry. You've seen Tamir Rice be murdered on video. We saw what happened to Corey Gaines. I can go on and on and on and on and on. We understand we understand the struggle. But in order for things to get better, a lot of things are going to have to be burned down. Things are going to have to be destroyed. There's a group of competing men in this country that the only thing that they understand is violence. The only thing that they understand is losing money. They want you to protest peacefully. They want you to protest the way they want you to protest, when they want you to protest, how they want you to protest. But that can't stand. See, in the 60s, you had violent protests and people died. You had peaceful protests and people died. Dr. King protested peacefully in the 60s. Dr. King was murdered as he made attempts to protest peacefully. Dr. King had many quotes about fighting this the wrong way. But white America didn't support Dr. King. Dr. King was gunned down. Dr. King's brother was gunned down. The next year, 1969, found face down in the swimming pool. Dr. King's mother was gunned down 1974 in a church as she played the organ, worshiping the word of God. She was gunned down. Left to bear all of that pain was Dr. Martin Luther King Sr., whose life was spared. So we've protested peacefully. Medgar Evers protested peacefully, but he was shot in his back in front of his family on his porch as he made attempts to exit his car and enter his home. All for protesting peacefully. Nobody cared about Medgar Evers. Emmett Till was murdered because a white woman said in 1955, because a white woman said that he whistled to her. So white men thought it was okay for them to go into the home of family members of his as he was visiting from Chicago and snatch him from under a bed and take him and murder him. But you were upset because some supermarkets was looted. Some stores was looted. You were upset because you've been made to feel uncomfortable. You don't even know how to properly question this white man or this system. Because in 1 minute you complain about it, and the next minute you want to financially support it. You feel like you can't live without it. Countless black ministers were hung from trees for rebelling against the system in the South, South Carolina, Florida, who per capita had the highest rating of hangings from 1875 to 1975. Black men were hung from their necks with their penises cut off, set on fire on trees, and their bodies put on postcards for the holidays for white people. But you don't want to be uncomfortable? We've been uncomfortable for 401 years. How much longer can we bear? How much longer can the spirit bear before it says enough is enough? And all hell breaks loose in order to a new metamorphosis or a change comes. There has to be a paradigm shift. There has to be a manifestation of a different thought process. We no longer want to be under mental bondage, where we allow you to treat us any way you want to treat us, and then you even get the chance to tell us what type of justice we're going to have. So when you kill one of our children, or kill one of our women, or kill a black father, we got to come to the same people that look like you, the same white person that actually committed the act. We got to go to other white people for justice. We got to march outside municipal buildings that's controlled by white people. We got to trust district attorneys, for the most part, that are white, judges that are white. Who said that white people were psychologically fit to govern black people? See, with everything that I said since I started this video, with all the murders, George Steiny was executed. A lot of young black boys were snatched from homes during Jim Crow and killed. None of the white perpetrators was ever brought to trial. Reese Teller, as she walked down the road, was raped by white men. None of those white men ever did prison time. The PTSD that we suffer, undiagnosed PTSD that we suffer from, nobody wants to talk about it. We've never had the proper psychological evaluations as to how we've dealt with this 400 years of trauma. But white people have never had the psychological evaluations either. But yet and still, they get to govern over us. And it's been a colossal failure, as you can see in this video. As we go around and you see the stores. From avenue to avenue, I'm all over the city. You see the stores. They're burning down. The youth is tired. The youth is now saying, you would never do to me what you did to my fathers and grandfathers. You judge me because I have tattoos on my face, because I wear my pants hanging down my behind, because I'm not conforming to the manner in which you say. You judge me because we get upset and we tear up your stores. We steal phones and all things that can be replaced. But you're more concerned about material items and money than the body. Than the bodies. As you look around and you see signs of black owned on stores here in the city of Philadelphia, not one black store was destroyed. No glass broken. No broken glass on the ground. Black owned stores wasn't touched. I look across the street, black owned stores in this section of West Philly, in the urban area. None of them touched. But I thought that they said we was just totally out of control. I can't speak for Atlanta and other cities. But in the city of Philadelphia, no. As I walk into the middle of the street and I zoom in on another black store across the street, there's a store called the Weave Bar. I got to laugh when I say that, but the Weave Bar. You notice there's no boards on the window because the owner of that shop is a well-known person in the area. And everybody knows that it's black owned. And she didn't have to put boards up on her window. We can look here as we go across town to the Alany section, and you see a sneaker villa burned to the ground. See, we saw George Floyd with the knee on his neck, and everybody saw that image of the Asian man standing guard, watching the brother be killed. But yet and still, they're complaining about racism and the way they're being treated. But then we see videos in China and what they're doing to our African brothers and sisters in China. We've seen those videos of what the Chinese government and Chinese people are doing to our African brothers and sisters, right? And they're screaming racism and crying, and they want people to have sympathy, sympathetic towards their plight. But yet in that video, we see an Asian man standing guard while a white man murders a black man. So all the Korean stores, Asian stores here in the city, they made a point to burn them down. For the last 40 years, the Asian community has made billions of dollars in the black communities. We've patronized their stores. We've eaten their foods. We've worn their sneakers, their clothes. Here's another sneaker villa destroyed. We've sent their kids to the best colleges America has to offer. We've made it possible for the Asian community to have their own casinos in Atlantic City and Vegas. We've given the Asian community the American dream based off of our $1 trillion spending power that don't circulate through our hands. It's circulating through the hands of Asian and other ethnic groups that come into our communities that haven't put a dime back into our schools. They don't fight on behalf of the people that financially support them. No. They look at you with vitriol and disdain. They don't have love for you. And this video is not teaching hate. This video is educating the ignorant. Educating ignorant in terms of not understanding and not knowing. They stay silent. We remember the Latasha Crawley incident in Los Angeles in 1991 that led to the riots when that Korean woman shot that black girl, that 15-year-old black girl, down in the back of the head as she was attempting to leave the store. We all saw it. And they went in the trial, the case went in front of a white judge, and that Korean woman was given probation. When clearly on video was seen that she picked up her revolver and fired one time and hit that 15-year-old girl in the back of the skull, killing her instantly. So as I said, that white woman judge gave that woman probation. And I'll ask again, how is white people psychologically fit? Psychologically fit to govern black people when you have numerous cases like that. Then we got to the Watts, not the Watts, but the LA riots in 92. After we saw video footage of Rodney King being assaulted, physically beat down by some white sawed-off gangsters in suits with badges. They were beating him so bad. The world saw it. White America saw it. White district attorneys across America saw it. White judges saw it all across America. The white infrastructure, power structure, they saw it on video. They saw this black man being beaten. But yet and still, there were verdicts of not guilty. But you tell me that white people should have the right, the psychological right to govern over black people? All hell broke loose. Everybody was mad when Reginald Denny got his ass whooped out there in Los Angeles. It went worldwide. Those perpetrators was given 20 and 30 years in prison. But the police officers that actually kicked it off wasn't given any type of time like that. And you're telling me that white people are psychologically fit to govern black people? I don't condone, as the original man, I'm true and living. We supposed to build and not destroy. I don't condone the beating of Reginald Denny, but when you're dealing with people with PTSD, I understand. So as we walked here on a place we call the Deuce, 52nd Street. This is the place where when I went live last week, you got a chance to see tear gas bombs and rubber bullets being shot at the crowd. Well, they were making attempts to protect stores. And this is another store owned by Koreans. As we look into the store was destroyed and you had to go upstairs. It was still smoky inside the store. The store was destroyed. A lot of the businesses were protected because the police got on this side of the Deuce at the time and blocked it off because, you know, they started to burn down, they started to burn cop cars and chase the cops. So when the cops got their numbers up, they came and blocked this place off. So then the fight ensued on the Chestnut Street side. And you guys that saw the video when I was live, you got a chance to really see the destruction. So as we walk down the street, you know, you see they have the shutters on, protecting a lot of the stores. But this is an area here where the Asian community made billions of dollars every year off the black community in sneaker stores, clothing stores, stores that was not owned by black people. Young black kids never walked these strips and saw black stores where they had a frame of reference to be great, a frame of reference to be something better than the current circumstances that they've been living in. As you see inside. Are y'all part of an organization with the cleanup?
No, I just saw Jenny Gautier making an announcement this morning about cleaning up.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you believe in reparations for black people?
Yes, I do.
Why? Tell me why. Explain to me why. This is for the people that's watching, because I need to hear from a person that's not of African American descent.
Yeah. I think we live in a country with a lot of prosperity, and I think in a large part that prosperity was built by the free and abusive labor of black people who were brought to this country. And
Right.
I think the white supremacy that was the foundation for that is still with us today, and the effects of that have never been fully dealt
Because
with.
a lot of times people would be mad at the results of young kids that do this, but they don't want to. A lot of white America refuse to recognize why it happens.
Yeah.
Why it happens. And when you see a video of a man in 2020, not 1930, put his knee on the neck, but the thing is not the act of him doing it, he wasn't afraid of consequences. That's in the psyche of a lot of white America, and they'll make an excuse for it. So my last question for you is, I ask, you know, because I see a lot of white people say Black Lives Matter. I feel like white people should protest without us against other white people for change, because it's not a black person's problem. We didn't create it. White people created it. In Africa, here, everywhere. So white people in droves have to protest against their own parents. And that's when y'all prove y'all loyalty to us, if we do have allies. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the only way it's going to change. This ain't a problem we created. You know, and I don't think that all white people are racist. But if I'm in the room, if I'm stuck in the house and there's 100 wolves out there and 10 of those wolves ain't racist, but they all look the same, then I got to judge them all until I see something different. So what's your name?
My name's Bethany.
All right. Say it again.
Bethany.
Bethany? Yeah, so that's what we need from white folks. White folks, next week, when all this died down, need to protest in all the municipal buildings across America. Because if you're not racist, then you should be appalled and ashamed at some of the policies and things that's set in place by other white people. That's when the change is going to come. My name is George Macon. All right? Nice talking to you. So having conversations with white folks as they come down to clean the community. We can't be afraid to ask the uncomfortable questions. It's time that white America be made uncomfortable. They have to understand what we feel and what we felt for a long time. You know, we don't like to make white America uncomfortable. So we look at the store here on 52nd Street. We're seeing the stores all across the Deuce be cleaned up. Then we go here and we still see smoke coming out of the sneaker store, and looting still taking place the next day. People are running into the stores. This is a community that I grew up with in Southwest Philadelphia. You know, as I look through the store, you can see the stores is destroyed. You know, we grew up here at this place called Players Player sneaker store that was owned and controlled by white folks in a community that's predominantly black. But you still see people running in and out of the stores, looting. And like I said again, people are furious at the looters. But they're not furious as to why this carnage takes place. And if you want change, things are going to have to get worse before it gets better, because that's just how things work. You see this cricket, the cricket has been destroyed from front to back. And people are saying, we can't go to our phone stores. We can no longer go, we can't get our phones. A well-known, the Woodland Village, a well-known restaurant, breakfast place. People we used to go get our breakfast in the 90s. Go get our chicken cheesesteaks and all that stuff was destroyed. People were upset. It's been in the community a long time. It's not black owned, it's Asian owned. It was wiped out. But the crazy thing is, in this area, there's an area called Little Africa. And none of the African stores was touched. You know, as I go up and you see the front part of where we used to enter to go into, it's being repaired. These stores were not harmed. I guess they had strong shutters and the people could, you know, the looters couldn't get in. But I'm telling my people, if you want change, you're gonna have to get more uncomfortable. You're gonna have to get to the point where you're willing to just have to suffer. I mean, we've been quarantined in our homes for the last 3 months. And like I said, it's 2020. That police officer put his knee on a black man's neck. And it wasn't the act of him putting the knee on the neck. It was the mentality. It was the mindset that I can do this because black lives don't matter. Black lives has never mattered. This is Cameron's Seafood, a well-known seafood place in Southwest Philadelphia. It was destroyed. I don't know what the hell they was going in there to get, but nonetheless, Cameron Seafoods was destroyed. You know, as you know, I go around this truck, and you see here now I'm in North Philadelphia. I left Southwest, and I'm across town now at area at Germantown and Lehigh, and you get a chance to see that people. It's the next day after the looting, and people were still out looting. Well-known stores were destroyed, and the underlining theme here: none of these stores are black owned. When you look at Philadelphia as a major city, about 1.8 million people, at least 800,000 black people, easy, but very, very, very slim to none black owned stores. What does that do psychologically to black people when you've been conditioned to be subordinate and having to rely on everybody else for your goods? What does that do to the mind of the people that look like you? They'll be more likely to support and defend people that don't look like you. They'll be mad at you because you are irrelevant to them in their everyday life. They don't require your loyalty. They don't have to rely on you for anything, for their growth and development, unfortunately. And this is why we can't advance. This is why we defend other groups when they treat us harshly. No other group does this. No other group lets other nationalities and ethnic groups speak for them. Only our communities. What is it that we want? What type of change do we want? Do we want white people to treat us better than America? Do we want white people to just stop calling us nigger to our face, and then we can go on with our merry lives with being subordinate to them, still having to worry about them being our employers, our landlords, and everything else? Just as long as we can have little jobs and consume material items. As you see here, the looting is still taking place across the street. No police in sight. This Metro store was destroyed. A lot of cell phones in the hood is probably on deck. The weave stores is destroyed. You know the weaves is popping right now. Weaves are on deck everywhere in the hood. So as I strolled down another avenue in the city, you see some of the stores were saved, but some of them wasn't. I hope they have insurance. But the majority of these stores have sucked the economy. I'm back on Woodland Avenue. This is my community that I grew up in. The community that I grew up in. And a lot of these stores have sucked the economics out of the community, but they put nothing back in. Time and time again. This is a check cashing place that was broken into. I mean, these young kids found, and let me clear up something. Let me say this, because a lot of people were saying that most of the looters were white. Well, I'm gonna say this: in the black community where I come from, in these urban areas, ain't no white people coming here, unless they already live here. No white people coming here. The looters here were black, and the reason why the looters here were black, because they're tired. They're tired of being beaten by the police and taken advantage of, and the things that don't make video. They're tired of black leadership and suits and black clergy letting the community down and telling them, complaining about white supremacy, but then being upset when the youth lashes out against white supremacy. They're tired of the Black Caucus not getting policies done and the black church taking billions of dollars every year from the community and not getting nothing done, but just want to hold hands and have corporate prayer. The youth need more than that. They need more, and they're tired. But yet you see a bunch of old people, not all of them, but a bunch of old people. You're destroying your own communities. You're out here acting like animals. You're out here acting wild. Basically echoing the same sentiments that white people say about us. You've been under this white man's foot for so long, you now talk like them and behave like them towards your own children. Because you have failed to get policies pushed in the last 40 years since the death of Dr. King, Malcolm X, and the Medgar Evers. You have failed. It's been a colossal failure. These communities should be black owned. They should be owned by black people. Young black kids in the communities should have a frame of reference of what black culture is. They should know that black culture is not nigger culture. But as elders, you have failed. You failed. A lot of you gave up because the white man struck back with violence, and the violence intention was too much. And in doing so, you failed your children. You failed your children. Because now your children don't understand what economics is. They haven't been developed by you. They've been developed by other people. And now they're rebelling. And now you're rebelling against them. You're begging that same white man to come into the community and get your children because you refuse to deal with them. This is what's going on in our communities, man. And we got to really, really pay attention and begin to have the conversation, man. It's necessary. The conversation needs to be had. Who's willing to have the uncomfortable conversation? Who's willing to begin to press these black ministers? Because we've been trained not to question the church. But who's ready to question the church? Look at this store. The Rainbow Shop. $5 tights is on deck in the hood. $5 tights is everywhere in the hood right now. Rainbow Shop has been destroyed. Who's ready to ask the uncomfortable questions? They even ran in the daycare. I don't know what they was going to get out of the daycare, but they definitely went in there. I'm not sure. As we walk down here, we get a chance to see one of my favorite bakeries. Oh, good. They ain't fuck with the bakery. Thank God. No, man.
Don't get that on camera.
No, I ain't got. I got you, sis. I wouldn't do that to you.
We open.
Motherfucker, she's why I'm not like, I need shit out there, motherfucker.
You damn right, man. I love this bakery. they ain't black, but they always nice. So
How far do you come from?
I just walked off. I'm doing the whole strip. But the old lady that owns it, she nice, man.
Irene, she know she works. She looking like.
And she hires black people too
Yeah,
in the
she
community.
does. She
So
definitely looks
she
out.
actually hires black people in the community. She's a nice lady.
Y'all fucking up everything that we got
Right.
shopping after
People
this.
getting money. What y'all buying it on?
Well, I how old are y'all?
I'm 34.
I'm 30.
Well, yeah, I'm older than y'all. I say this to y'all young people. You got to understand something. It's gonna get worse before it get better.
Yeah.
See, this what I want y'all to know. The reason why stuff like this at some point is ugly, but it has to happen.
Right.
Because in order to get change, they only respect money. See, do you see none of these?
Right.
Now, I want y'all to know this. None of these businesses that you see are African American owned.
Right.
So now we're not used to being dependent upon each other for nothing.
Right.
So now even though we say they racist, and we see bad stuff happen to them. You know why we feel sorry for them? Because we feel like we need them.
Right.
Because they provide our food, shelter, and clothing. Now the thing is, we gotta wake up and start supporting each other. If we say they shouldn't have did it, then I gotta support you. You gotta support me. I shouldn't have to walk down Southwest and we don't speak to each other.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We
Right.
should stop the shooting each other in Southwest. Because now we gotta unify and open up our own stores. See, and I want y'all to remember, if that man can put his knee on the neck on video and he don't feel sorry for doing
I
it.
bet you won't happen again.
Yeah, but they've been doing it since the 30s.
Forever.
They've been doing it
So we
since.
never got like this is my first buy ever.
This
Yeah.
is my first ride.
But has
too.
it
Yeah.
ever went to this max?
Yeah. So
been worse.
yeah, and I'm gonna tell y'all, we gotta stop feeling so sorry for everybody else.
Right.
Because they don't feel sorry for
They
us
don't.
until something bad happens.
Preach, brother. Preach.
Yeah.
There you go. You right.
Yep. But I like this is O'Terry's Bakery. I'm a fan of this bakery. I like the people here too. And they actually, and I will say about O'Terry's, they hire people from the community. You know what I mean? Opening and closing. So I will say that about O'Terry's.
There's no difference, brother.
Yeah,
Between me or you, we came from the same dirt,
Yeah.
same blood, brother.
I agree, but a lot of people like y'all don't say that. You do, but a lot of them be
people
real
don't- you know
racist,
why?
man.
They're ignorant, bro.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
ignorant, bro. Let me tell you something. First of all, I'm from, how you doing, brother? I'm a Middle East.
Uh-huh.
I'm Palestinian, I'm Arabic.
Mhm.
This is a sin in my religion.
Uh-huh.
Tell you, God tells you, God created all human beings to show people that there's God. You know, people don't believe there's God, correct?
Yeah, right. And when you go to Palestine on the ground, they look like me and you.
Same thing.
Me and you. So
I swear to
you'll
God.
have a person that you'll have a person look like you, and then they show a picture of your daddy. He look like me because those people over there are mixed race people. They're mixed.
I'm gonna tell you that there's a half an hour away from my village. I live in a village, a town called Jericho in English.
Yeah, I know about Jericho.
They're all dark skinned.
I know.
Because it's 24/7, 365 days. It's hot.
100.
But I'm gonna tell you this: there's a guy named Omar.
Mm-hmm.
He's my best friend. We used to go to the city so I could learn Arabic. To go to a different city because I was born and raised here. They said when I was there, we used to go read Arabic. Me and him to this moment, we're best friends. We slept in the same bed,
Right.
ate from the same plate.
Right.
He
They were
comes to my
family.
house, go to his house. My mom, every time we're in contact,
Right.
I send them clothes. I send them everything.
Right.
You know, he taught me how to swim. But these motherfuckers know how to swim. I'm fucking real.
Right.
But
And,
this is wrong, brother. This is insane.
and when you go over there, first, like I tell people, there's no such thing as the Middle East. Europeans created that. When you go over there, a lot of the white pale Arabs that came over there that actually took over wore those robes like that because it was 1,000 degrees and they would get burned by the sun. You go to Yemen, you go to Palestine, you go to all those places. When you go on the ground, you see millions of people that look like me. Even Iraq and Iran, but they don't show them. The
They
people
don't
that
show
look
'em.
in power look more white. They don't even look like you. They look like
that's
white
it,
people.
bro.
So yeah, so the racism is there, but I'm telling you, as you can see,
Hey, baby.
where y'all learn, black people don't hate everybody.
No.
But-
Let me tell you something. I'm an Arab. You think all Arab are good? No.
No, I know.
This is how life is. There's good
Yeah,
and
I
there's
know,
bad.
I know.
Your fingers are not equal, my brother.
Yeah.
Your fingers are not equal.
Yeah.
But this is, as example, the guy that they killed him is wrong. It's wrong, bro.
Right.
He's already dead at the handcuffs. That's it.
But
What can he do?
That stuff been happening. My only thing is with certain Arabs that upsets me with Arabs understand everything we go through here because they go through it in their own country.
That's what I'm going through.
Yeah, they go through it in their own country.
My brother, the Jews killed him.
Yeah, I see what they do over
He
there.
was only 15 years old. What he's doing? He's walking to school.
Listen, especially Palestine is a powder keg. It always been. So a lot of Palestinians come over. They should identify with us immediately because they understand everything that we've been complaining and talking about.
What he had, like, what he saying? There's nothing compared to what we going through.
Yeah, y'all. But yeah, cause see, I remember. Any place you go to where there's oil and resources, it's going to be war and torn. It's always going to be a struggle because you got European
We don't
nations
got no
over there.
oil, but the problem is the Jews don't have no country.
Yeah, it's no country, and
They
it's
came to us without. We don't have no a bullet. They came with missiles, which is America.
they took
helped
it. But they took it. That's why I said they created the Middle East. They created the Middle East. So
all this. Okay, look, as an example, people around the stores. Why?
you know why? I'm gonna tell you why. What happens is this, right? We live in a system of capitalism, right?
Right.
And the only thing white folks and people understand is money and business. So now when you see how he put his knee on that man's neck on video and he didn't have no fear of doing it because they have no respect for people of color in this country. They never have.
Right.
Do you know in this country, from 1875 to 1977, there was over 4,200 recorded hangings, average 77 lynchings a year, and nobody ever went to prison but one person? Do you know what the black codes are?
No.
Do you know what the Civil Rights Act of 65 was? The Civil Rights Act of 65 made it so people like y'all could come to America to make money. That was based off of black people. You know who Dr. Martin Luther King
Yes,
was, right?
of course,
So the
yes.
Civil Rights Movement and the Civil Rights Act of 65 wasn't just for black people, it was for all oppressed people. So y'all was able to come here and make a living, but most people that come here, they don't understand the plight of black people here. So now, when you come here, the government gives y'all special privilege over the people that's already here because they can kick you out if you get out of line. So what happens here is the fight here is for us to get our just due. They never gave us our just due. Remember, we don't come from nowhere else. We come from right here.
Right.
Immigrants
right.
come from here. We're not immigrants. We've been here for
decades,
right.
decades. Since America was up.
So who you want to be the consumers? The immigrants coming? No, they want y'all to come make money because it's good for foreign relations. Yeah, we allow other people to come to America and become a part of the melting pot. But who do you think they want to be the consumers? The former slaves. They don't want us to build ourselves up because then we compete in the economic system. So we got to understand, it was the same thing that would go on in Palestine. If 5 million African Americans went to Palestine, they would give us special privilege over y'all. It's just business. That's just the way it goes. So the thing is, you start destroying shit and start saying every time you do something like this to us, we're going to destroy you, we're going to destroy businesses, and we're going to start fighting back. That's the only way you're going to get change. You can't just kill somebody like that. But that's not the only time they ever did. They listen. You seen all the police shootings, and look, they go to court, they get away with it, right? How much longer can you continue to do that before the powder keg explodes?
It's not gonna take that long. No, nope. You're right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but I'm actually happy that when I walk through the black-owned businesses, they're still there.
Thank God.
Yeah, they still there. But you know what that means? That means that the people actually have a conscience and a pulse. They understand what they're doing.
And then maybe like let's say me and you together.
Yeah.
I might not understand. You're like, oh,
So we
you
explain
might
it.
talk-
We explain it to you.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, but some of us gotta learn how to talk because see, I can have a conversation with you being a Palestinian because, and I would say to any Palestinian or people from like Yemen and places like that, it's nowhere in the world you can come here and judge us based off of where y'all come from, and because the same foot that we're up under here, they destroying those countries over there, and
That's why we always say, like to translate in English, you can't judge a book by the cover.
yeah, well, it's a lot of policies that's set in place. So my thing is either we got allies or we don't, and I just think that this is a wake up call for you guys because they could have easily ran in here and started destroying stuff, and they didn't. Here and now, as you see, I'm in the Kensington section of Philadelphia. The Kensington section of Philadelphia is famous for having the largest open air drug market in the country. Even bigger than the Bronx, bigger than parts of West Side, South Side of Chicago. here in Philadelphia. You know, buildings were burned down, even up here. But a lot of the stores were not touched because this is a multi-million-dollar area, everyday drug operations being around here. So a lot of the looters didn't come this way. This area is destroyed. It's a destroyed area. I drove up this area because I was curious to see if the looters would even come down here to destroy the avenue of stores here. But as you see, I take a stroll through Dope Fiend Park. You get a chance to see all the white dope fiends that America don't want you to see in a major city like Philadelphia. As I walk up, I wish I was holding my camera up a little higher, but I walk through the park. The majority of dope fiends you'll see down. This is like, you would think that it's 1989 or 87, but it's 2020. And these people are out here shooting drugs, having sex, just, you know, sleeping outside. The police do nothing. They just sit and watch. I'm talking about open air everywhere. In 2020, you would think it's the 80s. You would literally think it's the 80s. When I walk, this is an area, they call it Dope Fiend Park. And people, you know, people come from all over the place just to ride by and video this area here. You have two areas. You have Dope Fiend Park, and then you have another park on 5th in Indiana that's equivalent to Dope Fiend Park. And here I'm at Kensington in Orleans and Kensington in Indiana. And this is a rough spot, man. This is a rough one of, you know, it looks like the Bronx. You know, it's very rough. But the majority of folk that you see here, this is me walking up to the police officer. I forgot what I said to him, but you know, you know, there's construction being done. But when you look up the street, you see the firefighters out here. They're putting out a fire of a house that was firebombed during the night when the rioting and the looting took place. But for the most part, the stores weren't destroyed in this area. But as you can see, as I take a trip up, you know, up the block, you'll see dope fiends everywhere. But I guess the people that control this area, the looters, knew not to come down here and bother anything down here because of, I guess, the illegal drug trade that goes on. And as you can see, the majority of the users are not white. I mean, are not black. Excuse me. They're not black. You see this lady here? She out here shuckle bucking, doing her dance. I guess she must have just took a blast or a hit. Well, she's out. She's a white lady. I go up. I'm going up the streets, and I'm just showing you. I'm showing you on the ground. I've rode past here before, but I did it in my car. Now I'm on foot, and you get a chance to see up close and personal the things that's happening. I even got a chance to talk to some of the youth out here that was out here on the block. See, because I come from behind the keyboard, and I get out here on the streets, man, and talk to the youth. And they out here on their grind. But when you go past here, you're going to see dope fiends out here, man, hitting pills, injecting each other with needles, just out in public, off the rip. And the police ride by, they do nothing to really stop it. You see this guy here, man, he just, you know, he just took his heroin shot. He looked like he's about to pass out or die. It's a black man here. As you know, you see, it's really a sad thing to see. It's horrible. You know, as I get older in my years now, I actually have remorse for the people that I see. When I was younger, I didn't understand the carnage and the destruction that was being caused. But as a grown man, you know, you feel bad. So, you know, like I said, I got a chance to sit here and conversate with the young people. I got a chance to sit on the corner. You know, some of the youth, they stopped while they was on their grind to sit and talk to George, to have the conversation with George. You know, it was necessary conversation that was supposed to be had. And when I walked the streets, the youth stopped and talked to me. They stopped. They had a conversation.
Man, you ain't on camera. Yeah. I mean, what part of the joint? Because I don't really see no businesses up here. They fucked up. They ain't,
That shit got a point in the world.
Yeah, you ain't on camera.
Ain't nothing really done that tour.
Yeah.
The last thing they tore right here was Sports Skinny.
Oh, okay. I see they tore up some shit down there. I wouldn't put you on camera without you
This where all the
knowing.
wreck at, bro.
Oh, okay.
I don't even care, man. I ain't running no stores
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah.
I'm cool. You dead now. But fucking, you probably passed everything.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you. What's your opinion on this? And how old are you?
I'm 25.
25. You younger than my son.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on this?
My opinion. I mean, shit got a little too crazy, but I'm all for it, man.
You think
They
it's
been fucking-
necessary?
Yeah, they've been fucking us over for a long time. And they say actions speak louder than words. Our
Right.
words ain't been getting heard for over like a lot of decades.
Right. So I'm 20 years older than you, right?
Yeah.
So you've had a chance to see all these police shoot people and get off, but then they show you videos when you was in school about what they used to do to us back in the day, and then our pops. So it's like the generations is tired.
Yeah,
So,
we really tired. Yeah.
so how do y'all feel about the old heads? Like, what do you think we should be doing?
Boys, let me see.
People that's like 20, 30 years
Boys
older
don't
than
give
you.
a fuck no more, man.
Yeah, they don't care.
They'll put you in harm's way in a minute.
Right,
They
right.
all for themselves now.
So what do y'all expect from us though?
fucking honesty, man.
Honesty and protection, right?
Protection and honesty, yeah, and some fucking trust. And real loyalty, man. Niggas will put you in harm's way in a minute, bro.
Right. Cause
They
see,
turn these young boys into crash dummies.
Yeah.
All the boys tired of shooting, they going to jail doing time. So they
right.
They
So
get the young boys.
and you notice you hear the talk. All these kids is out of control. They put the blame on y'all for everything.
Always,
They
man.
don't
But they
know
the
why-
ones that taught us this shit, or we watched them do this shit.
Oh shit! Say that again. Say that
They
again.
either taught us this shit, or 9 times out of 10, we watched them our whole life do the shit that they doing.
I'm gonna you be on YouTube.
Yeah, I be on it too.
Go on YouTube. I'm gonna give you my YouTube channel.
All right, so
Give you my YouTube channel.
I got you.
I got an organization called Urban Nerds.
Okay.
Right, I'm from the hood. I done been through. I'm from Crosstown. I'm from Southwest.
Say
No, it's
more,
fucked
say
up
no more.
over there
Yeah,
too.
It's fucked up over there too. I
Yeah.
used to be on 72nd and Wood.
Yeah, and I done did all kinds of shit, but we trying to get the young bucks together, man, and some of the big homies that's from the street,
It's
man,
only right, bro.
and
No
teach
bullshit.
y'all some
This
skill
shit fucked
sets,
up,
man.
Yeah. If this shit don't change, it's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
What's your YouTube?
Type in George George
George
Macon MACON.
MACON.
Yeah, let me turn around. Yeah, now hit that. Hit that. Yeah. All right, that's me. So you hit the subscribe there, and then hit the bell. So the top part off. Yeah, and then hit the one that one too. Yeah. I'm gonna walk up here. I'm gonna walk back down. I'm gonna give you my Urban Nerds information because I'm gonna tell you, I need brothers like you because we're trying to teach younger kids, younger than you, that it's cool. You could be a nerd and have swag. Now, what does that mean? It's cool to be smart. You ain't got it, because I'm gonna tell you something. All the brothers that say they got swag, that's running around here wanting to be rappers and buying jewelry, guess where they buying this shit from? Nerds that own every goddamn thing. So how about you be the nerd with the swag that own everything?
No bullshit,
That's what.
bro.
So now y'all need big homies like me to come back and guide y'all. See, my thing is this: I don't have a problem with the kids wilding, but now they need direction though.
Absolutely.
They need direction after all a while. So I'm gonna walk up a little bit, and I'm gonna come back down. All right.
So as we take a stroll up Kensington Avenue, you get a chance to see people just out the open air. You know, it's this area is just purely destroyed, man. Hurting people, man. You have a lot of white people that come from other areas that come here and get high, but the area is mainly Latino, Puerto Rican. You have a large portion of blacks that live in the area too, but it's mainly poor Puerto Ricans in this area here, man. Puerto Ricans that have nothing. A lot of Puerto Ricans are suffering just as well as the African American people here in the city of Philadelphia. And you know, when I walk up and down the strip, like you'll see people, man. Just I'm gonna show, you know, as I turn, you'll see some of the side blocks. I walk up about about 3 or 4 blocks, and just, you know, you see people outside, man. You know, over here to my left, people just sitting out, getting high, like it's nothing. Children that walk these streets, they're indoctrinated with drug culture at a very young age. They're trained and conditioned to think that this is the way to be. So their heroes in these communities are not Allen Iverson or Michael Jordan or not Kevin Durant or LeBron James. Their heroes is the big time drug dealers in the community that they see they got all the cars and the girls and everything else. That's their heroes, unfortunately. And this is why I created the Urban Nerds, because from these urban areas, when you look, I want to draw the children from these areas and give them a something that they can look forward to, something that they can look something where they know that there's a better world than the one that they've been born into. Because the life expectancy of a young black man in an area like this is no older than 19 years old. He's more than likely to be murdered before the age of 19 in this area of Philadelphia, which as of today, we have 169 murders. We're well on par for 400 homicides. And this section of the city accounts for a large number of the homicides that occur. As you see, just dope fiends walking up and down the street. They've taken over a large portion of the area of this community that the children are forced to have to witness and be around. It's a sad thing. And a lot of people, because a lot of the majority of people you see here walking are white, but don't think that a lot of our people are not hasn't succumbed to the vicious plague of drugs, of heroin, of crack, and all the things that's destroyed this community, because black and brown people are hurting as well. You see them as you see them as I walk through here. And I was actually showing, but I didn't want to blatantly put everybody on camera. But I just want you guys to see, when you look at this is economic racism. This is from policies that wasn't pushed on both the Democratic side and the Republican side. This is the pure destruction of a community. And when you see kids get up and loot and say that they're tired, this is their frame of reference is pain. This is PTSD. This is destruction of a people, man. Look at them. As I zoom in, I mean, you just see them all lined up, just waiting to go get the heroin. This is destruction of a people. How on American soil could something like this be possible? How could they allow this? This is the issue. So we going down. Hey, I ain't putting y'all on video. I want to ask y'all a question. Why y'all think they ain't tear up this area like they did West Philly and parts of North Philly?
This shit bad though.
Well, we know it's bad for other reasons. Yeah, but I was kind of surprised that they didn't tear up none of the businesses here.
No, it's our business.
Yeah. Well, which area they fucked up? Yeah, further down.
It was down there, farther down there, Allegheny, around Allegheny, all around Allegheny, down area towards
Yeah, because on my side of town, they just wiped Southwest out. West Philly, wiped it out.
They wiped out right here on Base and Lehigh.
Oh, okay, they tore up there. Because I was surprised. I was like, yeah, but then I was thinking, like, there's a lot of, you know what I mean, that go on. They, motherfuckers, don't fuck up our shit. Yeah.
The pharmacy down there, the sneakers store, the front of the
hey, how old are y'all brothers? How old are y'all brothers? Man, y'all younger than my son, man. What's y'all? I gotta get it from the younger people. I got a big YouTube channel, so but I ain't gonna put y'all on video. What's y'all opinion as to why? Do y'all think that this should have happened?
No.
What do you think should happen?
I don't think this should have happened.
Yeah.
I don't think this should have happened.
You think it should be another way that they should handle things?
There's always another way to handle any situation.
Okay. Yeah, I'm asking a lot of young people, me being one of the OGs, you know what I mean, from the street, and I'm getting mixed reviews. Some young people say, yeah, it should have happened. We tired of shit happening. Some young people say it shouldn't have happened. But let me ask you a question now. I mean, y'all, because I'm like 20 years older than y'all. What do y'all expect from the big homies now? Like, what do y'all think that we should be doing? A whole lot.
It should have went down, but I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It went down.
Yeah, right.
For real. It shouldn't have went down, but I don't give a fuck. I'ma just say, motherfuckers should raise their kids, but.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for giving me y'all time. I got you. All right, y'all. As you can see, when I walk the streets, the youth don't know George up this area. This is not my area. I didn't grow up here. I'm not from this side of town. But I go anywhere. I don't carry a gun. It's just me and my cell phone. And I'm able to go in some of the gulliest sections of the city. I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar open air drug thing. And these kids is out here on the block. I'm on the block with the kids talking to them. They stopped to talk to George. Because the spirits recognize, they know who is who. They know who to talk to and who not to talk to. I'm not afraid to come talk to the youth. Because like I said, I want the kids with the tattoos on their face, the pants hanging down their behinds, the hot clock on his hip, the one everybody threw away, the one everybody's afraid of, the one that everybody said that he's never going to amount to nothing. That's who I want. I want the low lifes. The one who said, the society says he ain't no good. Because I believe that he is good. I believe that he does have a soul and a spirit on the inside. I know because I was once one of them. I come from that. And look where I'm at now. So I don't have a problem going back into the belly of the beast. I don't have no fear of going into the hood and engage with the youth. Because they waiting for you, man. They want somebody. As you see her, she's getting ready, you know, she's rolling up her drug, getting ready, her drug of choice, getting ready to do her thing. They want to be loved. They want to know that you see them. They want to know that they exist. They don't hate us. They come from us. We birthed this youth. But all of a sudden, we're afraid of our own children. A lot of us like to stay in the house behind the keyboard and talk this black revolutionary shit. But we don't want to hit the streets where the straight bullets are, where the gang banging is, where anything can go down at any given second. You can ask the wrong question and something can happen to you. Yeah, out here, this is where it's at. I'm out here. I'm always out here because I come from here. I identify with the pain and the struggles of the youth. And I give my life and everything that I can to help change and build these young black men up so that they know their worth. They understand that they're soldiers. And it's up to them to change the conditions of the community. We gotta build up soldiers, man. We gotta turn them back into young men that when they look at themselves in the mirror, they proud of what they see. We got to address that undiagnosed PTSD that black men experience, that black men see. The time is now, man. The time is now. Do you say you want a revolutionary change? Are you for the people? Look at him. Look. Look at our people, man. Look. How he walking. He on that slow. He got that slow walk. And this is the issue that goes on.
They out there try to say that the kids is unruly and they disrespectful. I say I disagree. Some of these kids, hold on. I disagree. Some of these kids just need direction. They need big homies to give them direction. All of these kids ain't disrespectful, man.
Damn sure not.
They ain't. You know what I mean? But a lot of them say, I ain't got you. A lot of them say I ain't got no old heads because y'all don't act like old heads.
Absolutely not.
So they try to emulate what we used to do in the 90s, and they do it all wrong and end up with life in prison.
Exactly. No bullshit,
You know what I'm saying?
And end up with everything that's going on
so
today.
they see you with tattoos and stuff on their face, and they try to throw you away.
Yes, sir.
Well, our Urban Nerds organization, we want to embrace brothers like you because I know y'all smart.
Absolutely.
I know
man.
y'all smart.
I'm full of knowledge.
And given the opportunity, y'all can create and invent anything you want, man.
No
so
bullshit.
tell them your
Yes,
name,
sir.
man.
My name Naeem.
Naeem.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to get with you, all right,
All right, bro, yeah.
All right.
Take it easy.
All right. I ain't put you on video, man. You're not on there. You're not on there. He is, man. We walking through Skid Row again. You see all these cars flying through here? This thing like open air market, bro. You would think it's the 80s. I'm telling you. Or early 90s, you think it's 1991 or some shit when you come through here. And that's why places like Philly and Baltimore is still off the chain. You can't stop it.
I
Tonight, West Philadelphia is the epicenter of the unrest in the city. Crowds began setting property and police vehicles on fire around the area 52nd and Market this afternoon. This really hit home for me. I grew up in this area, the Nixon movie theater, shopping with my parents. This neighborhood, like all our neighborhoods and stores, has quite the legacy. When I was a kid, Dr. King commented on the saying, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. He said all that does is create a lot of blind and toothless people. He said nobody wins, and that the time is always right to do the right thing. Please stop, please.
Look, we got the Army in the hood. We got the National Guard in the hood, chilling, eating pizza. They in the hood. We got the National Guard in the hood. Y'all supposed to say hi, Mom. They got the National Guard on each at the other corner too. We gonna walk up to the corner. Got military. The military all walking through West Philly, man, with pieces, with their face covered, walking with M16s. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, America done failed now when you got Army walking through with machine guns in the hood. You already know she going to shit. Like, I'm walking through a city block. Kids outside, everything. You got machine gun toting military men. Let's walk up the block. This ain't Center City. This is 52nd and Haverford. All right, you got children outside playing. At the corner of the block, you got the Army. So let's get to the corner of the block. We're gonna go film the military. Hopefully they don't shoot me talking about something I got a gun in my hand instead of when it's just a phone. So, you know, you see just regular traffic every day, things going on, and you got a guy standing at the corner with his hand on his gun. So this is like the traffic. You can see the oncoming traffic going by. And you got the Humvee, so they bring the National Guard in. They bring the National Guard in. Look, he on deck. He got his hand, he's ready to go. They got him on lookout. They got you on lookout. Look. Oh man, yeah, you got the babies walking down the street, so the babies get a chance to see machine guns.
My kid's dad keep putting his hands on
So this is look where we at. We at 52nd and Haverford. He can't do nothing about it. You gotta tell the local police.
That's what I'm trying to find out.
He can't do nothing about it.
What do I do?
Huh? He keep putting his hands on you?
Yeah, he keep putting his hands on me. I let him get away with it,
So
but
you
I'm
gotta
tired.
stop letting them get away with it. Don't let nobody put their hands. Where your brothers at?
My brother said something to him last night. He took it a whole nother way. But
Then you need to leave from wherever he at. Get you and your kids away from him.
Place.
But then get the police and get him out of there before he hurt you and them kids. Somebody put their hands on you. Don't let them do that because they're gonna keep doing it. So don't let them do that. You got to get you and your children safe.
Right.
Yeah, but we in the hood. So they said once they get the military to police urban areas, America's in decay, right? It's over for America. When you say the military, you said the military and the police civilians. No, the drug dealers wear suits in Congress. That's who they got to get first. Those the real drug dealers. They make the communities the victims, but the real drug dealers wear suits, and they work in the Senate. No, you can do that right now. Yes, you can. You've been assaulted. So y'all come down to keep the people safe or protect property? I don't know. It seems like the corporations and the government only care about property, not the people, man.
I could care less. What?
But where was the National Guard in the 80s when the government in suits put all the drugs here, man? The real gangsters, man. Huh? Y'all should be standing outside the White House waiting to get the Congress. Y'all should be standing outside them government house waiting to get the Congress and them senators and lock them up.
You're welcome.
She went and got a whole pizza. The kids ain't even scared of them big guns. That's how you know we in the hood.